One day you have a fear of it. We know now from neurogenesis and the extinction of the fear response that has been clinically proven, psilocybin allows you to reset and have different neurological pathways to respond to fear, overcoming the fear conditioned response, potentially PTSD, and there's a lot of research on this currently. But this wouldn't happen one time with one hominid group. It wouldn't happen 2 times, 10 times. It happened millions and millions and millions and millions of times over millions and millions of years. This leads to what I think is called, this should be called epigenetic neurogenesis. We know that there's a regeneration of neurons. We know that psilocybin substitutes the serotonin. It opens the floodgates of the senses. You have a lot more data coming in. And we know that you have the extinction of the fear response.
And it's a little bit lower than it probably should have been. It's more consistent with a murder or homicide. And he said, this is Baden's words, is that usually he's seen it in maybe like 1 bone break and sometimes 2, but there were 3 fractures.
And you would think it would be, if you're going to hang yourself from such a short distance, it would be even harder to get a fracture like that, right?
The note said like there was like 4 things, but there's a ballpoint pen like the one I have in my hand sitting right next to it. Now, like if you knew he was on suicide watch, you wouldn't give him a ballpoint pen that he could kill himself with.
Why does he have 9 jumpsuits?
I didn't see this arm thing, and I didn't see the picture of his back.
But the arm thing looks like an injection spot?
I guess so. Here,
thank you.
I don't know the names. And then they're saying, and then he killed him. But then this ballpoint pen was next to it, that he could have stabbed himself in the neck or whatever,
The only way to make a one world government work is to have the people embrace it. They have to want it because nobody wants it. So the trick is to make people want it, to embrace it. There's only one way. The only way. And they've known this forever. The Vatican knew this. The Pope wanted to rule the world. They all knew it, but they couldn't do it. They all knew it, but they knew one way, but there's no way how they're going to pull it off.
Man?
The only way is if there was some extraterrestrial threat from up above us.
What's crazy is that it's so high profile. Like even because this is most likely how they did it forever, right? Like people that whack people, they were probably like, I was doing comedy before the internet. they were probably whacking people before the internet, right?
Do you want to see? I found the graphic image.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm not scared.
Don't see if you don't want to see it, Brian. But
The Shining and the moon landing.
There's a crazy conspiracy theory connected to The Shining and the moon landing.
Yeah, I heard about the moon landing.
Yeah, it's all about the number on the door is the exact same amount of thousands of miles. It's 237, and it's 237,000 miles away.
I heard
but it also,
that,
by the way, it varies. See, that's the problem with that argument, is that like the distance between the Earth and the moon is not constant. I think it moves a little bit. So I think it goes as far as 265,000 feet out, or miles rather, 265,000 miles out, and it goes to 237. But I think it varies. I think it goes like this. I think it has like an elliptical orbit around the Earth a little bit. Is that true?
Yeah, it sounds accurate. Sorry, I was in the middle of reading the 237 stuff.
If that has already been proven, that they took this fake photograph and they tried to pass it off as a real spacewalk, right, it's entirely possible that some of the stuff that they filmed, they made out to look like they were on the moon when they were not. But does that mean they didn't go to the moon? No, it doesn't. And so when I was saying it proves that they didn't go to the moon, my critique of myself is that I didn't look at it objectively because I wanted one conclusion to be true. And I wanted that conclusion to be that the moon landing was fake. So I looked at it and I was saying to myself, okay, did I come to this conclusion because there's a lot of evidence that shows it to be fake, or have I seen a lot of evidence that looks fake?
South Dakota today started a new campaign, anti-meth campaign, but it is onmeth.com, and meth, we're on it is the slogan. That they spent over $450,000.
I mean, there's not anybody.
What? You spend how much?
$450,000 of taxpayer money to figure this out.
Oh my God!
This is why people hate the government, because nobody was able to stop this and say, "Hey, this is not the best."
This is the dumbest fucking ad campaign I've ever seen in my life. That sounds like a fucking Onion article.
It's like a rap song or something. Bad rap song.
This is so.
Doesn't it seem like an Onion article?
I love what it says. It goes, South Dakota has a problem. There isn't a single solution because meth is widespread, but we can approach it from different angles so it doesn't take over counties, towns, neighborhoods. Let's work together. Meth, we're on it. God. But Epstein, they just charged guards. I mean, this is hilarious.
Yes.
This is a very funny comic. Nick Mullen on Twitter was like, "Oh yeah, this is the justice we all wanted. The guards." You know?
No, here's what's
not
good.
the
2 prison guards tasked with watching Jeffrey Epstein on night he killed himself. They should fucking charged with falsifying records.
And conspiracy.
And conspiracy. Here's why that's good. Somebody paid those guys, and they're going to sing, or they're going to die. Something's going to happen. Either they're going to take those guys.
I think it's a way to satiate the public. I don't think I don't think that Barr, the Attorney General, has any real desire to get to the bottom of what happened. I mean, this is clearly, obviously, sexual blackmail. Epstein was involved with intelligence, whether it's U.S., whether it's Mossad, it's somebody. His island was a honeypot. He had powerful people in compromising positions.
The other reason why I'm inclined to believe there's a conspiracy was the fact that they found that bullet on Connolly's gurney when they brought him into the hospital. It's too convenient, and the bullet itself is fairly pristine. Now, knowing as much as I know about bullets from personal experience of hunting, you can't hit anything with a bullet. I pulled a lot of bullets out of animals. When you shoot an animal and you hit bone, those bullets, they distort brutally. I mean, they don't look like that after they go through 2 people and hit all sorts of bone. That's the bullet that came out of Connolly's body, or Connolly's gurney, excuse me. And that's the bullet that they're attributing to this single bullet theory. If you look at the path of the bullet that goes through Connolly, or goes through Kennedy and then goes through Connolly, that to me is not unbelievable. It's not unbelievable.
That one is. But you got to look at the other one.
But even that one.
I'm saying the greatest endorsement deal Magic Johnson ever signed.
Holy shit, this is insane. 30 years later, he looks great.
He looks amazing.
He looks great.
He's on TV telling us why he left the motherfucking Lakers.
Because he looks incredible. He does look incredible.
He does look incredible.
Yeah.
He does look incredible.
He's not even positive in tests anymore.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I heard that.
Yeah. If you give him a test for HIV, it comes up negative. Because apparently these protease inhibitors and all these different things that they take to the different medications, you don't even test positive for HIV anymore.
People thought that HIV and AIDS was a gay disease, and they needed like a alpha male, I guess, to have it, to kind of erase that stigma and to let people know that you can live with it.
But the hypothesis of the stoned ape, which I think you've alluded to before, is that with climate change and as the savannas increase and our primate ancestors came out of the forest canopies, they're tracking across the savanna. And if you're a hunter, what do you look? You look for footsteps and you look for scat. And the most significant fleshy mushroom going out of poop in Africa, hippopotamus, elephant, deer, antelope, etc., is Psilocybe cubensis. It's a very large mushroom. You're hungry. You're with your clan. You consume it, and then 20 minutes later, you are catapulted in this extraordinary experience. Psilocybin substitutes as serotonin, becomes a better neurotransmitter, activates neurogenesis. It causes new neurons to form, new pathways of knowledge.
The whole thing about like tracking you on your phone, that it's normal now. We just normalize getting tracked everywhere. Allow location? Okay.
Allow location.
Go ahead.
You know
Tell
what the
me where
worst?
I am.
But you know what the good thing is? I'm not doing nothing bad.
Yeah, that's the
So
good
it's
thing.
like I'm not stabbing somebody, or I got an alibi.
This is like the slippery slope. That's what people were worried about when all that Edward Snowden shit came out, that the government can just track you. But now everybody just gives it up to apps. And that
What are
they
you
can
gonna
listen to everything you say. Well, how many of your fucking isn't it been proven? Has it been proven that your phone is actually listening to you?
Yes.
Right? Can we say that, or are we crazy?
That's tough.
Yes.
I would have to
believe
say,
it.
yeah,
I
it
believe
probably is.
I definitely think they could turn your microphone on, and they can make your phone listen to you. I think that's a fact.
I heard a fucked up story, and I'll drop it on you here.
And what are the satellite capabilities like now? It must be incredible.
Oh.
Must be amazing.
Oh.
He had a secret fund for surveillance tools.
That's how Google Earth started.
Right?
Did you see this come out a couple weeks
NYP.
ago?
How crazy is
live.
this? Burglars aren't even casing joints out anymore. They just go on Google Earth. They see what cars you park outside.
Documents reveal the police bought facial recognition software, vans equipped with X-ray machines, and Stingray cell site simulators with no public oversight.
I'm trying to remember exactly what happened, but they tracked whoever it was and caught them using license plate camera things and followed them around the city and like found their location.
It gives a lot of power to people that are working as police officers. You know, if you could just like zoom in on people like that, listening to their cell phone conversations, like they're just people. That's part of the problem.
We have a constitution that they wrote.
Yeah, I'm for legitimately looking deep into
Dude,
people
flat
that
Earth, there's
flat
so much
earthers
material
mock
there.
them.
There's
Flat
so-
Earth is like, what? Space is fake. What?
No.
You dumb
You
motherfucker.
flat earthers
No,
like,
it's the
bro,
same thing.
just walk
chill.
away
No,
from
it's the same thing.
Okay.
You got it all wrong. You got it all wrong.
Is
Well,
everybody
Eddie,
that
I've
believes
got to
the flat-
think this is not
everybody-
very organized.
No, what I'm saying is
I got to think I
everybody
couldn't
that
have it
thinks-
all wrong.
No,
There's
everybody,
no way.
anybody that thinks the Earth is flat, they totally don't believe what we're taught about what's above us. So when
the
people
sun?
say space
Wait a
is
minute.
fake, they
What about the
mean-
sun?
They mean all the information we're getting. You're lying about that shit. That it's not that it doesn't exist. Of course it exists. We see
Right,
it.
of course.
But space is fake sounds ridiculous. Like
There's something
we're
up
looking
there.
at it and it's fake. That's ridiculous. That's
just
not what
the
it means. It
Truman
means
Show.
that all the information we got about all
We're
those
off.
lights in the sky.
Yeah, something
they're
else?
They're lying
NASA's
to
lying?
us. They're lying to us.
And the very people that are calling it, the very people that have boots on the ground and that are in these war zones are and calling these things, when they become cynical and they become jaded, that's when it gets really, really sketchy. And we rely so heavily on people like you. Look at 'em. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and you wouldn't be able to really get, like, I know people that have gone to Venezuela and they come back and they go, I don't know what the fuck is going on over there. I don't know who to believe. I don't understand it. Venezuela is a very strange one, and I do not know. I don't know who to believe, and I think you'd have to go over there and you'd have to spend a lot of time to try to figure this out, and it would have to be the entire focus of your life to really try to parse it out,
I think that's true of a lot of conflicts.
even if it's correct.
They're preparing us for a fake alien invasion. That's always been the plan. A one world government. The only way to do it is to get us to embrace it. And the only way to embrace it is from an alien attack. Ronald Reagan talked about it many times at the UN, CFR. He talked about it because wouldn't it make, he looked at all the leaders of the nation, of the world, and said, wouldn't it make our lives easier if we just had some kind of extraterrestrial threat? He said that shit. He said that in front of the UN. Like he's trying to get everybody into
I don't think he ever said that,
believing. No, he said that many times. It's on video many times.
Ronald Reagan?
Well, last night during the Golden Globes was going on, there was some jokes going on by Ricky Gervais that we can probably talk about later, but 60 Minutes was probably going on a different channel at the same time, and they had a report with some new evidence that nobody has seen yet.
Oh, jeez.
They have some autopsy photos and photos from inside his cell.
Whoa.
Yeah,
So
the
I'll
photo.
show those.
Are the photos online?
Yeah, I'll get them.
Of course they are.
Yeah, I didn't know this was just released.
There's no way they open this up, and there was no way that they could have had Jeffrey Epstein in open court pointing fingers at maybe prime ministers and presidents. It would tear countries apart. It'd be the biggest political scandal in our lifetime.
I just can't believe they just murked him like that, though. They didn't just murk him; they murked him twice. Here's what I want to know: when he tried to commit suicide the first time, were the cameras broken then too?
Great question. I don't know.
How come we never heard that?
Well, we didn't see any footage of him. I've never seen any footage of him in his cell. I mean, they haven't released any footage of the cameras ever working, right? I mean, from what I can understand.
Did they even comment on it? Remember the first time that he attempted to commit suicide?
I think they got it. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good point. I mean, I think they found him. They transferred him. I don't know if they have photographic evidence of him doing that.
It's the same photo. It's just been edited. So the one on the left was them practicing how to use these. I don't guess that the harness is some sort of a thing that he's hanging on to. I guess it moves him around a little bit. Right. They were trying to practice it on the left, and on the right, they just passed it off. But those are publicity photos, right?
Right.
So you got to go, well, okay, well, who approves of publicity photos? It could easily be just some idiot who works in the publicity department who did marketing, who didn't think they had enough photos from the moon that were good of spacewalks. It's probably insanely difficult to take a spacewalk photo. Right. So does that mean that they faked the moon landing? No, but it means that people fake things. So you got to be really objective and looking at that. Right. Okay, so people say fake things. They definitely filmed a lot of the training exercises that they did of the moon landing. Right. They filmed a lot of shit. I feel like we're at this cusp of something very strange happening. Like we're in the middle of it right now, but we're at the cusp of something very strange, where all it would take is one massive world event, one map to completely remap how we view each other and how we view things. It's very disconcerting to me.
I mean, it feels like without that one big world event, we're not that far away from that right now.
Right.
There are parallel universes right now that exist on things that you would have thought everyone can accept as a basic fact.
Like what?
You know, I mean, Syria.
Yeah.
You know, the white helmets. There are some fairly serious people saying the white helmets are, you know, some kind of media front for Al Qaeda or Al Nusra.
Would you explain the white helmets for people?
So when there's a bombing and a building collapses, they go in and drag people out and get them medical attention as quick as possible.